Pradeep Mahajan, StemRx, Bioscience Limited, India, Mumbai. I am here in Senegal today to express my views as a scientist in medical sciences and clinicians in the doctor fraternity. The science is moving very dynamic today. What we have been doing for years together are the old generation treatments. Now we have to see, we look into the science where the untreatable conditions, particularly neurological, orthopedic, degenerative, all can be treated along with the malignancies, cancers and autoimmune diseases. My profile, I work currently at Indian University at adjunct professor of surgery in USA, and I'm a board certified physician from American Board of Regenerative Medicine. I'm also a board member of the American Board of Medicine. Currently, I'm working on clinical trials as well as therapeutic protocols and academic programs with various universities. In US, I have a program from American Board of Regenerative Medicine for teaching students who wants to learn this science, as well as in India from the university educations where I conduct fellowship programs. I'm very happy to be in Senegal today and to address the country who are desiring to see how we can change the medical science for the country in the future. I will request for this program, if some questions they have got, they can ask me so that I can address those questions in a way, in a layman's language, where all the audience who are going to listen this will understand what is the science of regenerative medicine, which is cutting edge science standing at the coming corners to change our lives from unmet need diseases like autism, cerebral palsy, ADHD, developmental delay, Alzheimer, Parkinson, delayed development, dementia, and also autoimmune diseases, spinal cord problems like spinal cord risk of injury, disc, whereas in the brain, which I mentioned the list of diseases, and autoimmune diseases like diabetes, small children diabetes, that is called as juvenile diabetes, which is very important. Parents are suffering and children are suffering, but we don't have any treatments. Then cancers, which is very important. Rheumatic disease, there is no treatment in the world. Ankylosing spondylitis, there is no treatment in the world. Ulcerative colitis, there is no treatment in the world. You can list down the diseases, which are more than 8,000 diseases where we really are struggling to treat. And StemRx has brought these solutions to all these diseases here in Senegal to discuss, to get enlightenment and awareness in the people that they don't have to wait for children to become good. They have a chance to improve their children, to look in the future how the children want to be like the normal children and disease cure.
Yeah, in Senegal, we realize that many people are suffering from autism, are suffering from cerebral palsy. I mean, like we're asking, what are the causes of those diseases?
A very nice question, which has been an obscure question till date. No world science could detect what is the cause of these kind of diseases. In fact, if you see autism or cerebral palsy, these are related to the brain development. One is because of hypoxic injury, that's cerebral palsy, which relates to because there is a decrease in oxygen supply at the time of birth, before birth or after the birth. And the second autism, a second condition autism, where there is no damage to the brain, but it is a metabolic and developmental problem where the synaptic connections in the brain and axonal directions of the neurons are not completely developed. If you can find out the cause for this, the causes could be in the last trimester of the mother, at the time of the birth and after the birth. Anything which affects on the mother's health, on the child's health in the form of hypoxia, then amniotic swallowing, or cord around the neck, or jaundice, or delayed cry, anything could be a reason to develop autism also. In autism, usually what I have seen is rewiring of the brain, which is required. Means the wiring of the brain is disrupted. Disrupted means various centers of the brain, like speech area of the brain, like vision area of the ear, hearing area of the brain, then the brain area, what the memory, analyzing, or social behavior area, speech areas are not connected to each other. The question is, how do we set this to reconnect the brain? Yes, that is the problem of new science, which you cannot do with the modern science, but regenerative science, which can reconnect these centers by developing synaptic connections, by developing axonal development, and reducing the neuroinflammation in the brain. The brain has got a new concept of gut-brain axis. Gut means microbiome of the intestine, which produces the macromolecules which are absorbed in the body and sets up to the gut-brain axis neuroinflammation. And this neuroinflammation is very important to delay the connections in the brain development, like as I told you, synaptic connections, axonal connections, which are not developed. This is a basic cause for autism or cerebral palsy, which world is trying to find out how and why. StemRx has designed certain protocols which are called as sandwich protocols, which plays on two roles. One, playing on the developing inbuilt stem cells in the body, which are present in the neurons. These are called the progenitor neural cells. And the second, using cells from the bone marrow, fat cells, progenitor cells, and infusing them in the brain, and then reducing the neuroinflammation so that the peptides which are used, neuropeptides and neural growth factors, which help to redevelop these connections. And that is how the science is developing much faster. The only is a gap between understanding of old science and the new science. So if we fill up this gap, I find it's very important to understand and develop the treatment protocols for the children to recover and go back to their normal life.
Is it possible to treat those diseases that you list?
Yes, that's a good question to understand, and I want to tell all those parents, all those people who are in the agony to see their children to come to their normal life. Yes, StemRx has that kind of treatment protocol which helps to develop the synaptic connections as well as axonal developments and reduce the neuroinflammation so that the various centers I told you to connect and the children can become almost normal. In fact, I have seen some of the children in their normal school after the treatment have scored their merits, ranks, and doing professional studies.